Hey, y'all, and welcome back to Committee on Committees podcast. I'm your host, Ellen Scrimetti, and today I have got my good friend, Amy Hannon. Amy, how are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Well, I'm better now that you have figured out. Guys, if you're listening to our third episode, I said in number one that the number one would be the worstest thing ever looked. Number two was the same. Number four is going to look really good because Amy Hannon has figured out that you look better on your phone because in the app where I record my podcast, honey, she has got portrait lighting, portrait mode, blurred her background. She looks divine. She looks divine.
I told you that I have young people all around me and they say, Mom, your phone does so many more things than you could ever even dream. Just start pushing buttons. I'm like, okay, I will. I started pushing buttons. And I was like, oh my gosh. Portrait mode. Portrait mode is everyone's friend.
It's everyone's friend.
Everyone's friend.
I look like real life. I look like I am 46 years old, ran around the house trying to find a good spot to record. And now I'm sweaty. This is not a bad foundation. This is life happening on my face. If you see
You're
me.
also 2 states south of me.
Yes.
And it's hot there. I mean, it's hot in Arkansas. I feel sure that it's hot in Alabama.
It is hot. It is hot in Birmingham, Alabama. This week, this will come on after the SEC baseball tournament, but say a prayer.
Go Hogs.
Y'all are gonna be there. Yeah, go Hogs. Yeah, y'all are playing. Somebody posted that they hope that you lose fast so you can go home and rest.
Thanks for that.
And that's a real baseball fan. When Mississippi State finally won the College World Series, it was because they lost in 2 games at the SEC baseball tournament. Got to rest. Ole Miss and LSU played in the championship, but then by the time you get to start playing regionals, super regionals, and College World Series, you're exhausted.
Yeah. Well, we know the tournament is fun to win, but Omaha's the goal, and we won the West. We won the West.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we'll see. Okay, you're a
Mississippi State Bulldog.
You're a Mississippi State fan, but you live in the Birmingham area. Do you know Sophie Hudson?
Yes. Absolutely, I know Sophie Hudson.
So, are y'all friends because y'all have the same allegiances and loyalties?
Yes, we have had. Okay, so
Annie
F. Downs, I adore her too. Annie F. Downs, who has become my Instagram BFF, just like you're one of my Instagram BFFs. I love Annie F. Downs. She tagged me and Sophie in a post and said, "I need you two to know each other because you are so alike." Then we started Googling each other. We both love Mississippi State. We both love Jesus. We both love Birmingham.
You both cook. So you're Southern cooks.
We both cook, Southern cooks, everything. So we actually were like, okay, let's do it. Let's meet for lunch.
Did you go to Helen's?
We went to the Olive Branch, which is a really great Greek place in the Cahaba Heights area of Birmingham.
Okay.
And it was so good. I needed it because she's written so many books. And I was finishing my first book. And she was like, Ellen, what are you nervous about? And I said, I'm nervous that my manuscript is going to get rejected.
And there's such a long list of things to be concerned about when you write a book.
Yes. And I said, I've never done this. I said, I feel like I'll be able to breathe once they say manuscript accepted. Yeah. And she said, Ellen, if you're writing based on your book proposal, unless you all of a sudden turn in a tour of homes, I'm going to do an interiors book on Southern interiors instead of your Southern humor, your book's not going to get rejected.
It's not.
And so we wanted to get together because our books were due the same week and they come out at the same time.
Yeah, so we wanted early September, right?
Early September. When do you come out? November. Okay. You've got a hot minute. So good. We can, but we'll all have to just have us all on and celebrate our fall books. But she said, please let me know when your book is accepted because it's going to be accepted. Yeah. And I needed Sophie Hudson's warm hug. So I love her.
She is delightful. I love her so much.
Yes. And then Jamie Golden, who has the Faith Adjacent podcast.
Oh, yes.
We have the same hair lady.
Y'all do? I was actually her just this week. As a matter of fact, so what's the temperature in Birmingham today?
Hail.
Okay, well, that's bad news because she had a little kidney stone situation, and I was talking to her about it last week. We were talking on the phone, and I said, so what's your diet? And she said, well, they told me basically I have to eat more dairy. I was like, well, praise God for more dairy.
Yeah.
And so I actually shipped her a whole case of 6 pints of Grater's ice cream, and it is supposed to be delivered today on the day we're recording this. And I did not think, my gosh, Birmingham is going to be hot as hell on May 21st. So I hope that she's either still at home or has her ring camera turned on or something so that she can get those, because they are not going to survive. I need to text her just to be sure that she runs out there and gets them. But anyway, so fun. Birmingham people are so fun. I'm coming through there, I think, the week before Thanksgiving. So,
well, do we need to have just like awesome Southern woman palooza in Birmingham and have?
And I want to go to Helen's because I like to eat, and so
Helen's
biscuits there.
They're really good. Yes, we really should talk. We will. We'll talk offline about some kind of really fun Southern woman palooza and have Boo Mama and her podcast, Jamie Golden. I love Jamie. She sent me a message and said, I think you're so funny. I see you on TikTok and I just wanted to say hello. And then I messaged her back because I'm also a fan, but then she never messaged back. And I was like, I was probably too much. I should have been more flippant, like, oh, thanks.
Right.
As opposed to being my authentic self, which was, oh my God, I love you too. And I just had my haircut.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You overdid it. You didn't have any chill about you. You had a little chill about you.
I have none. When I meet fun people, when I meet somebody I love, I just want to just hug you and cook for you and find out who all we have in common.
And get together.
Yes, I'm going to do all that with you. Jamie, please still be my friend, even though I had no chill. I think she's probably like, oh, I thought she would be cool, and she's not cool. Not.
She's fine. She's fine. She's fine.
She's fine. She's just busy. Y'all, this is Amy's. Is this number 2?
No, that's my first book.
This is your first book. Love, Welcome, Serve.
Okay. Shorter hair and fewer chins on that cover.
Well, I went to Dr. Melanie Petro and showed her my book cover and said, make me look like my book cover.
Mm-hmm. Right. Whatever you got to scrape off and light and pick
whatever you got to do. She's like, what are you looking for? And I was like, this. And I held up my phone with my book cover. And I was like, I want to look like this. But Amy, she did this really cool treatment where it's like Botox and Restylane right under your skin and not into the muscle.
I do any of that stuff. So I have no earthly, and I don't plan to. So I don't have any earthly idea.
Hey, listen, what you do to your face is between you, the Lord, and your facial plastic surgeon.
Now, do I spend every living dollar on skincare? Yes, ma'am, I do.
Yes, I do too. Here's the other thing, though. I don't color my hair. I have not. I am very fortunate that I do not have to work in highlights and roots into my budget. So
I do. Therefore, I spend the money on the Botox. I've got blonde hair, and it's short. I have to get it cut all the time. So,
well, you're gorgeous.
Well, you're sweet.
So you can do anything, y'all. I told Amy that I call her. She is my Southern Ina Garten.
Garten is the queen. She has a big memoir coming out. I mean, don't think I was first to hurry up and get that ordered. I love her. I think we would be friends. I think she would intimidate me a little bit.
Yes.
But I think I would still love to be, and I would love to bask in her glow. I would.
I would love to hear her say in person or store bought is fine.
Oh, no, she does. She
yes.
She learned it.
Mm-hmm. The thing that Ina Garten showed us was that it is okay when you entertain. It is okay to cook, bake, prepare 1 or 2 amazing things, and then have a couple of really great things that
I tell people that all the time.
Yes.
I believe that.
And sometimes, even though my little boy, when I was buying gift bags for Christmas and trying to do treat bags, I said, I want a really great presentation. And my son said, Mom, I don't care about the presentation. I care about what's on the inside. And I was like, well, that is the Yankee in you, because
you're also like, that'll preach. That'll preach.
That'll preach. But in this instance, I really do care about the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. When it comes to, 4th grade Christmas goodie bags, I need a better presentation because what's inside is not expensive. Yeah, because he really.
It's smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors. Yes, I just want you to go, oh, I love this. But Ina Garten showed us that we did not have to do every single thing from scratch when we welcome people into our home.
I love it.
And I love that about her. And
Do you know what else I love about Ina? Do you know what else I love about Ina? She owns 4 shirts. She has on a black shirt, a navy shirt, a denim shirt, on occasion a white shirt. And of those 4 shirts, she sometimes adds a scarf. That's Ina Garten. Her hair does not change. She does not wear a bunch of jewelry. She doesn't wear 58 dresses from Amazon like I do. She literally has a look, and she does it every darn day. And I love that about her. And so although I think that sometimes she feels like she could be a little bit northeast, I think that she actually is very simple and comfortable in her own skin and likes beautiful things. But like, she loves orange tulips, and she'll do orange tulips every time. And she likes those 4 shirts, and that's the 4 shirts she wears. And she's good with it. And I really appreciate that.
You know, that concept is called uniform dressing. And Michael Kors does the same thing. And I researched when my children were very small. We had just moved to Nashville, and I knew that I had to simplify my wardrobe. And so I did a toned down version of uniform dressing where everything in my closet went with everything else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And everything worked together.
Okay.
So,
like, if you were fancy, we would say a capsule.
Yes.
If we weren't us.
If we weren't us. Yeah. If I were cool, I would say, yes, I did a capsule.
Fancy, we would say capsule.
I survived my babies being small and me being overwhelmed and under medicated with a capsule collection, like capsule dressing.
Yes, capsule dressing.
Yeah.
I love it.
But I love that. And when you do uniform dressing, you do what she does. That's one less thing that she has to worry about in the morning.
Absolutely.
Because she is a captain of industry. She is a leader in the field, getting dressed, her hair. That is one less thing that she has to worry about. And
100%.
thank you, Ina Garten,
for all the things.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. Yeah, I believe in that. Unless you can have 100 Amazon dresses in your closet.
Which I do, but you know, my $120 Amazon dresses equal most people's like 5-day dresses. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so for me, my capsule is inexpensive dresses, because I don't have to put a top with the bottom. I don't have to figure out, does this go with this? I don't have to figure out if it's pant pressed or they wrinkly. I just literally, I do the same hair and makeup every day. I wear the same silver earrings. I wear the same silver bracelets. And I walk in and I'm like, I'll wear this one today. I just pull it on and I can walk right out. And so I don't have to think about stuff. And so for me, that's a little bit the way that I do it as well. But mine are just, I have variation. But I literally wear a dress almost every single day. I wore leggings around the house yesterday, and it was so unusual for me that even Sam came home and was like, oh, please. I'm like, I don't look at me. So anyway, but easy and approachable.
I discovered day dresses, Elk Crown and Ivy. I'm just going to plug them in. I started working with them last year, and I realized, okay, throwing on this dress is just as easy as me throwing on leggings and a t-shirt, except
and it's cool and it's comfortable.
It's cool and it's comfortable. And I feel like I was a better writer when I was put together.
Always. I feel more productive when I'm clean and dressed and ready for the day. I just do. I get ready every day. And I get a lot done. And people say, good grief, you do a lot. And that's funny. I mean, I'm a high capacity girl. I love to work and be busy and do a lot of things. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I get up and get ready. It makes me feel
ready to go.
Like
yes. But my degree was fashion merchandising. And I mean, I am at Elwoods without the law degree, but we did study the psychology of dress. And when you present yourself and you put yourself together, you feel better and you're more presentable. I love this story so much. When I was in college, I had the worst case of the flu, and my mama and her sister, my Aunt Jen, who is dearly departed, came to visit me. When they opened the door to my apartment, I was sitting on the sofa in all my glory with my Miss Tippah County crown on my head. And they walked in and they said, well, Susie Sugarbaker, are you going to survive? And I said, I've just tried anything I can to feel better. So let me just put this crown on my head and see if I feel better. Well, then she said, well, we're going to take you to the doctor. And I remember I threw on some clothes and my mama said, "Are you not going to put on any lipstick?"
Oh, preach that, Mama. Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Mama, I have 102-degree fever. I am at death's door." And she said, "Well, the doctor could be single.
This is your chance.
What if this is your meet cute? What if this is..."
This sure be cute. Gosh. What if y'all lead
Yes.
a marriage class one day and this is part of your story?
This is your story. We need...
I had an unknown disease and I was sweating bullets.
But that lipstick, he was like, "Wow, that lipstick color,
You
that's the
smelled
woman."
like sickness.
Yes, but your lips,
Yeah. Yeah.
you were ready. Well, my aunt she was so tickled, and she said, "Ellen, I wear lipstick to the mailbox. I wear lipstick everywhere." Well, her career, she was a nursing home ombudsman, which is a go-between of the nursing patient and their families. And she would do talks and classes for senior citizens. And she created a talk called "Am I Really Sick, or Do I Just Need Another Dab of Lipstick?"
I've got to show you something.
But her talk was encouraging. Yes, you're a senior citizen. You may be in the nursing home. Get up every day. Put yourself together. Put on your lipstick. Put on your day outfit. It will make your days better. Don't just sit in this nursing home and be old.
Listen, I have to tell you this because it's so right on. This is so spot on. So last summer, I went with my best friend Beth, and we had our color analysis done because it's making its way back.
That's the thing. Yes,
I did House of Color. We have a rep in our Northwest Arkansas area. They're a little bit hard to find. They're kind of scattered, but I did House of Color. My friend did House of Color. We had our colors done, and let me just tell you this: Beth, my friend Beth, God bless her, she's an introvert, and I fuck with her all the time, publicly to lots of people, but she gets kicked out of this because we have literally cried tears about it. Beth had looked unwell. She was yellow. She was jaundiced. Her bags under her eyes were dark. She was bitten to forks on concealer. She was having treatments done. She was going to a functional medicine doctor because she thought her liver was unwell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She looked good. And you know what? She was wearing olive, burnt orange, mustard, greens, lambs, caramels. All of those colors are warm.
Yeah.
And Beth went and had her colors done, and she's a winter, which is like bright, clear, saturated, cool colors. It changed everything about her. Like, it literally, she is not unwell. Her liver is functioning just fine. She looks vibrant and beautiful. It's because she was literally wearing the wrong colors. We have laughed about that. She was literally having blood work, all kinds of things, because she did not look well. And it's because she was wearing the colors that were not her colors that are making her look sick. And so sure enough, she's a winter and she looks incredible. And it's so funny. Like, the first picture that I posted of her, she didn't really do social media, but shortly after we had it done, you try to buy in, you sort out your old clothes that don't, make you look like a dead person. And you try to start incorporating new stuff. Well, she had never worn a hot pink dress in her life. Not hot pink, but like a beautiful, bright berry pink.
Yeah.
Yet she wore it to my daughter's wedding shower. And we took the hostess picture with the mom and the daughter and all the hostesses. And Beth had her very first public outing in this beautiful, like, bright, hot pink berry dress with a really beautiful, bright fuchsia lip.
Yeah.
And I posted on my Instagram. She said, "Amy, I literally had people saying to me, 'Was that you?' Like, they didn't even recognize her. She looked so beautiful and vibrant." And she was like, "What does this mean that I've looked like my whole life?" I'm like,
"Dead. You look dead.
It just means you look better. Let's just say from this day, I once was lost.
Now I'm found.
So you just walk forward in truth. You know what? You can't look back. There's no looking back."
Someone asked me one time if I'd ever had a color analysis, and I said yes. In the 1980s, my mama told me I look good in everything but black and to stick with jewel tones. So but I have never done a color analysis.
Ellen, it's so fun. It's so fun.
Okay.
It's an investment. It's an investment. But so is a whole closet full of clothes that you put on and you don't like the way you look in it, or you're struggling to figure out what your lipstick looks like because nothing looks quite right.
Yeah.
And so everything has kind of come together. It's taken about a year for us to really settle in, figure it out, build our closets, buy the right makeup and all that stuff. That, listen, it is enlightening. And it goes back to what your grandmother said, that Are you sick?
Or
Or
do
do
you
you
just,
need to wear a little bit of your lipstick? And is it the best color for
and
you?
is it the best color for you? I think that that's amazing. Okay.
Well,
Ladies, if you're listening, I hope that you're hearing that it is important for us to get dressed for the day. I read, TikTok is not my full therapist, but I did read where someone who gives really great tips for ADHD. And I went to a therapist who said, yes, you have adult ADD. Do you want to be creative or do you want to be organized? Because you can't have both. We can put you on medicine and you can just be a very you can just be a very organized person.
Yeah.
You're a creative person, so you're going to need to learn how to work within this. And she said, put your shoes on. She said, don't walk around your house barefoot. When you need to be productive, put your shoes on. And I have found that too, that when I write and I'm needing to write material or I'm needing to get proposals together or plan things, I get fully dressed and put on my shoes and then I sit down and I start to write. So, and you just feel like it is time to write. But what's one of the first things a kid does when they come home? They kick their shoes off. So put your shoes on and get ready.
Interesting.
I
concur with all that.
Yeah, that's what I knew that this was going to go wherever it needed to go, and I didn't know it was going to go here, but I'm so glad that it did. The other thing I love is that when you talk about building your closet, I've had clothes from Amazon and they still work. What I love though is my husband just took all of my Crown and Ivy from last year to the dry cleaner because we put it up for the spring, for the winter, and he brought it out and I have this whole new wardrobe and they all still look good.
How about that?
So that's the nice thing.
Also, praise God that you can wear clothes from last season. You know what I mean? Like at our age, you sort of just don't ever know.
Well,
you never know.
I'm a little bustier. Here's one thing that happened. And the lady, my husband's like, you have to understand that no one, except for the men on Instagram, the women are really not trying to hurt your feelings. But I posted an old reel, Amy, it was from when I started from like 2 years ago. Well, of course, my face was thinner because I wasn't trying to do all this stuff at one time. But she said, look at you, your face is so thin. You've lost so much weight. I know you were so proud. And I'm like, actually, ma'am, what you were saying is that I have gained so much weight.
We're going the other direction.
Ma'am.
Change the direction of the timeline there, sister.
Ma'am, that is a 2023 reel, and this is 2024. But you know what? Hey, but when it comes to my journey of my health, my philosophy is I am just never going to give up. So I am back doing my Orange Theory. I'm back to trying to chug all the water that I can. Let's get an apple in there every day. I'm just, okay, I fell off. I started eating like a third grader when I was writing the book. And I was also trying to write a stand-up show and do my first manuscript. And I did a merch launch last summer and my kids were out and we were all trying to navigate this new world of mommy being an entrepreneur and not having a set schedule. And look,
you hit Taco Bell and you ordered a lot of Domino's.
I did. And I drink a lot of Diet Pepsi and a lot of, and you know what? It happened. I can't erase it. Let's just move forward. It's just like your girlfriend who was wearing the colors that made her sick. Listen, I fell into some bad food habits. I could either keep falling into the bad food habits and keep, not feeling healthy, or we can just, pull ourselves together and get back into the good food habits. So that's what we're doing. What else are you going to do?
All of that.
A really great question. Or you made a post. You love to bless people with food. And I would imagine that I can only imagine what a blessing your food cooking is to people and to the people of your church. But I believe someone commented or said, oh, I'm so nervous to bring you food. How do we bless the person that is blessing others? What would you say to someone who is intimidated to bring you food or intimidated on how to bless? Your husband is a pastor. And you two are blessing each other. And sometimes we forget to bless our blessers. How do we bless you?
Well, that's kind. And, the way that came about is I have a real sweet friend that lives around the corner and she's just kind and serves. She didn't go to my church. She's not even like in our congregation or whatever. But she knew that in 1 week I had submitted my manuscript for my next book. I moved my baby child and his brand new wife Minneapolis is a 12-hour trip from here north. And then we just had a whole bunch of other kind of care things that were kind of going on in our world. And she just texted me and she said, I have a pie. I made a pie for you. It's Joanna Gaines, like lemon pie. It's super easy. I just knew you had a really big week and thought that I would just run this by for you all to enjoy. It meant the world to me. It meant the world to me. And she put it in a clear Pyrex. It had a Princeton seal over the top of it. But then she tied this really pretty ribbon around it. And she had some baby's breath that she just tucked in. And it was so beautiful. And it was so simple. And she said, I just thought out, who serves the strong? Who serves... there are just a lot of people in our world, your pastors, women who look like they have it all together or do a lot or whatever. And you think, oh gosh, they're spinning all those plates and they've got it all together, or they must have a ton of people who care for them, or they don't have any needs. I think that's another big thing is I think people look at strong people, at people in leadership roles, or people who serve and think, oh, they must be serving out of an abundance. Not really, not always.
Right.
You don't always serve out of abundance. A lot of times you serve with a deficit where you're just leaning on the Lord and the power of the Holy Spirit to just empower you to continue to be obedient and to love people. It doesn't mean you're just serving out of this surplus that's going on in your life that you can pour out. And so a lot of times, especially for ministry people or people who are strong or in leadership or are servants, they're worn out, but they're still continuing to lead and serve. And so she brought me that, and it meant the absolute world to me. And what I appreciated is that she thought of that, because most people don't. She acted on it, because I think a lot of times we have that thought come across our mind, and then we go, and then we pass on by. Also, I cook for a living, and have cookbooks and cook for people and do private dinners and all those kinds of things. And so she said, because when they asked her, I would be intimidated to cook for you. And I put this on my Instagram and I said, here's the thing. People who are blessers, people who are cooks, people who show hospitality, people who serve and love people well with food and the table and an open home and all those things are great cooks. People are often intimidated to invite them over or serve them or bless them or surprise them with a pie when they've had a big week. But what I want to just remind everybody is that people who cook and serve like that, it's their love language. And I don't know if y'all ever read that book way back in the day.
Right.
But the goal is to speak the language of people you're trying to care for. And so there was nothing kinder that anybody could have done to me than to make something for me, because that's my love language. So she spoke my language to me, and it communicated so much kindness to my heart. I just loved it, and I ate so much of that pie. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to eat better too, and I ate a piece, gave a piece to Sam, and then I ate another piece. Then I texted my daughter and said, I have a whole pie. She works up here not far from where I live, and I said, I have a whole pie. You've got to try to get some. So she came and got some, and then I keep takeout containers at my house.
Yes.
To share food, and so she brought a friend. They ate pie. They took pieces back to the workplace in 10-out container. She has a friend, and so it was kind of this pie that just kind of kept on giving, and it was wonderful. But it really did. I mean, it really ministered to me because somebody thought of me. And I think a lot of people think their pastors must have so many people who care for them, and really, I don't. I'm not belly aching. We love our ministry lives, and people are so good to us, but I think a lot of times people think they must have either no needs or the needs they must have. There's probably a wealth of people that are taking care of them. And if we don't act on it, then nobody does. And so, yeah, it was really neat. I really appreciated that. And, another thing too is how do you bless the blesser? I'll say this as well, because I do love to share food, is, you always think about like somebody who's lived through cancer. Or somebody who's had an accident, or somebody who's caring for a senior citizen in the seat, and you think about the person that's going through it, the person of cancer, the person that moves, the person who needs care. And I'd love to feed those people because they need food. Because it's just such a simple way to just lighten their load and be joy to them, because we're showing that we care about them, remembering them. But I also try to remember to make food for the ones who are being who are giving the care.
The
So
caregiver.
the family, the daughter who's having to care for the senior mother, or the husband or the sister who's had to move in and care for her, that's got cancer, or they're doing whatever. And so just don't forget to care for the caregivers as well.
And that in turn, you're also caring for the sick person because you're blessing the person that's blessing them and helping give them energy.
And it puts gas in their tank, and it kind of puts a little bit of a new kick in their step when they're probably dragging their limbs and their heart is exploding, and it just feels nice to be remembered. Like, does anybody know or remember, or does anybody see how hard it is for me right now?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I would say too that anyone, remember that if you invite a cook over to your home, or if you cook for another cook, if I were to invite you over to my home and have you, it may not be the most amazing thing ever, but because you do this, you know how much effort was put into it.
Yeah.
And so
it volumes to be invited. It's not, I think the thing is too, and I will shout this on the mountaintop, I love to make good food. I love to eat good food, but our hospitality is not about the food.
No,
it's about the invitation. It's about the welcome. It's about the spirit. It's about how we look at people when we see people who are not so, kidsy about, is this doing this? Is it the biscuits? Are they dry? They might be. Sometimes you overcook things or you burn the bread because you're visiting or whatever. I would value the visiting.
yes.
Value and ask good questions. Lean in. Whisper a quick prayer over people before they walk out the door. Like, you know what? Can I pray for your kids real quick because you said that they were struggling right now? Let me just do it real fast. And it's not a prayer meeting, not gathered up on the couch. It's just, even sometimes it's at the door. It's just a really quick acknowledgement that you heard them, you heard their needs, and you're sharing with them and you're offering it up to the Lord. I think that's so easy. I think we just have made it all so fancy and highfalutin and about the event.
Yes.
Not about the people and the hearts and the exchanges. Good food is just good food. It's an icebreaker and it's delicious. I mean, we love it.
Yes.
But it's just not about all that.
Well, I wrote before we met, and I don't know how much of this will be in the opening. I do almost like a monologue, but I just love to write about whatever we're going to be talking about or whoever I'm meeting with. And one thing, in knowing that I was going to have this talk with you, I love the 80s and the 90s when you got married or if you had a baby shower. There was no platinum weddings and there was no Instagram and there were no wedding shows. All we had was a Southern Living Weddings edition. We had Martha Stewart weddings. Your wedding was your mama and all of her friends getting together and putting out their best thing. Like you would call and say, can you make sausage balls? My mother was the mint lady and the cheese straw lady.
I saw that you made cheese straws recently, and I love a good mint lady.
Yes, my mother.
You have a recipe?
Okay, so her mints that everyone loved in our town. Her recipe was white chocolate with peppermint, and then she would mold them into the molds. And
so not the little cream cheese mint.
She didn't do the cream cheese mint. She did, but that lady, I think she still has it. By the time everybody got married, she had the entire alphabet for the groom's table to have chocolate mints with your last name in the mold. She had golf mints, baseball mints, hunting mints, whatever the groom was into, and bride mints. And she would do them in whatever color you wanted them. And she would also leave them at the back door for you to pick up the mints for the whatever. Okay. If you thought that Martha Goolsby was making you 125 mints and there were only like 100, that is because I would grab mints on my way out the door.
They're so good.
And I got in trouble. My mother was like, are you stealing mints? And I was like,
how much?
Well, yeah. Am I human? Yeah, I am. And she was like, I tell people I'm making you this many mints and they need to be there. But and the churches were the wedding receptions were in the fellowship hall. Yes, my nephew just got married. He got married a year ago. She was a preacher's daughter. They had the most beautiful wedding in the church sanctuary. I don't say beautiful because it was, roses covered the entire vestibule. It was beautiful because there was so much love in that room. let's see if we can follow this trail of how we're related. My niece, so my nephew's sister, my niece's sister-in-law had a beautiful cross made. Her husband made a beautiful cross that was the focal point of their wedding. It was the focal point of my niece's wedding when she and her husband married, and they used that same cross, brought it into the church.
We just did that.
That was the most beautiful thing, was to have that as your focal point. Okay, and this is not what's important, but can you imagine my sweet sister and my sweet sister-in-law's wedding pictures that are from her kids that are all going to have this beautiful cross as the focal point?
We just did that. I can't wait to tell you that. So my son Luke and Allie got married. My son Luke married Allie in May of 2020. Mm-hmm. We had 11 people there because COVID, and they had cross built and had it at the front, and there were just 11 of us there, and we put it on YouTube so people could watch it. It was became so dear.
Yes.
That they continued on with it, but it was more about getting married than it was to have the hoopla and the dance and all the things. They really just wanted to be married, and so they had cross sag. Well, we donated it to this chapel because where were we going to put it? And she was from Texas, or Candace had put it in the back of a truck and brought it all the way from Dallas, and it was here, and they're like, we aren't going to do anything with this. So they donated it to that chapel where they got married. Well, then, just this last fall, my other two children got married within about a month and a half of each other. Mm-hmm. Grace got married in August, and I called that chapel and said, hey, we're the people that donated that cross. My daughter's getting married. Would you be willing for us to come and pick that up and use it at her wedding? And they said, we would love for you to do that. So we went and got it for Grace's wedding, and it's behind her. It's her centerpiece. And then Isaac, my baby boy, got married in October, and we borrowed it again. It is at all three of my kids' weddings, and my husband married all three of them.
That is beautiful.
And it is so dear. And, same thing. Grace got married at the church. She's our girl. She loves Fellowship Bible Church, which is where we've been on staff for 30 years. Mm-hmm. And she said, I know everybody gets married in a venue, and I really want to get married at the church. And we did that. And Ellen, it was so precious and unusual. People don't get married at the church anymore.
They don't.
Here. Not here.
Everybody wants to go out to a bespoke barn, or
a barn, which is hot.
Yes.
A barn, a field. I don't even know what all these venues, and they're beautiful.
They're beautiful.
They're so beautiful.
They're so beautiful.
Sam, had said secretly to me, do you think any of our kids are going to get married at the church where they've been born and raised, and we've been on staff forever? And I said, I think Grace will. And she did. And she got married. And we actually have a really beautiful foyer that has like a super vaulted glass ceiling and big glass doors on each end. And we actually moved all the furniture and all the booth, the community booth out, and then set up white chairs and just had the cross. And she got married in the foyer. And it was simple. And beautiful. It was so beautiful, and it was so dear, and she had the same cross that, all my others did. And so it's just neat. I mean, it's really neat. I love it. But I got married at First Baptist Church, Mountain Home, Arkansas, 400 Club Boulevard. And I had my reception in the fellowship hall. And you're right. It was all the ladies. I mean, it was
everybody.
Mel Ponder and Carol Jo Bogart and Dolly Kincaid and Miss Shirley, who made all the cakes, and my grandmother, Euna May, and her friends, Bonnie Margison, and I don't even know. I mean, all of them. They just served the punch.
Did the stuff.
Set the table.
Yes.
All of it. And it was hosted my showers.
Yes, the church ladies
dear.
They do your showers. I can remember my sweet mama. You get a shower. If you're a member of the church and your grandbaby gets married, but your grandbaby's not a member of the church, we'll do you they're not a member of any church, for any church to throw them a shower. We will throw, our church would throw you a shower to bless that grandmother who is a member. Sure. But my mom said the only thing about that is that not everybody knows the bride or the groom. And I can remember my mama and her friends having run out to the Walmart and get, ladles, kitchen timers, all those things, because they still wanted that person coming to the shower to feel blessed. And like they had a lot of stuff. So they would do that to jazz up the gift table. Mm-hmm. So it looked like they got a lot of stuff. But I told my daughter, I said, I hope you see the love at this church wedding. Mm-hmm. Because my niece she got married at her now husband's parents' house. They had a beautiful front to their house, and He was gorgeous and beautiful and the sweetest, filled with so much love. They now have 2 precious grandbabies that are just, I mean, they're my brother's grandbabies.
Sure.
But they have 2 precious babies and they're just, they're just multiplying the love. So, but last year, instead of having they had Peter's Pottery Punch Bowl because, Mississippi people, we love our pottery. Yep. But the wedding, I loved everything about that reception because I was just visiting. We were all just visiting and enjoying everybody. The bride and groom had the best time. And finally, that was my mother's first church wedding because my brother and I will say that we saw how much work went into a wedding, that when it came time for us to get married, we knew that our mother was just going to be fit to be tied and just drive us all crazy. And I love you, Martha. And you would have when you're listening to this because you love me and you're listening. My brother and his wife, they got married in Gatlinburg and had a destination wedding, which it was gorgeous. And then Tim and I got married in New Orleans at a small hotel in a courtyard. And we spent our money on the honeymoon. We went to Napa for the honeymoon. It was amazing. But I just sat back and got to watch my mother. She had the day of her dreams with finally having a church wedding. And you know what? My sweet niece-in-law said, your mama has filled in every gap that I didn't know I needed filled. And so she appreciated my mother so much, but my mother got to be the one that was making sure people were refilling the punch bowls and refilling my nephew wanted Sugar Ree's red velvet cupcakes. And so she was making sure that the cupcakes were refilled. And she was, at one point, my nephew goes, look at Mimi walking around this church with no shoes on. And that's when my niece whispered to me and said, she has filled in every gap. And I said, she is. I said, she is in heaven right now. She is probably dog tired, but that woman is so happy right now that she is getting to do this for one of her grandbabies. So, yes,
I love it.
Bring back.
Also, Sugar Ree's, holy smokes, so good.
So good.
Listen, we're pretty regular down there at 30A.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you say it, Modica Market, right there in the Seaside Square.
Yes.
And when you walk in, like they're looking at it, it's in the right side, in the right corner. May have a bakery cabinet where you can walk up and they bring them in. They bring in those cakes.
Yes.
And they've got the caramel cake and the red velvet and the coconut and the strawberry and the things. And one of our traditions, has a lot to do with, the reason I wear big dresses.
Right.
We'll go down there and we go into that market right away and we get a slice of all of them.
Yes.
And we take them back to the condo or whatever. And we just all week, we'll just pull them out. We don't even cut them off. We just pull them out, open that styrofoam, weigh them out. And everybody gets sports. So if we're done, we put them back in the fridge. We don't even put them on plates. We just work it right out of those containers.
The other place that we have, if you are Birmingham, if you're taking 65 to get to the beach, like if you're in Nashville, you're going to pass through Birmingham. The other place we have that is so great is if you can stop by at Ashley Max. Ashley McMacken is the owner's name. Ashley Max is so good. And she does a strawberry and a chocolate cake. And I asked my mother, I bought her a piece of Ashley Max chocolate cake. And I said, Mama, whose is better, Ashley Max or Sugar Ree's? And she was like, do not make me choose. It is whoever's you have in front of you is whose is the best. So you sort of.
Is that like the tea room with the famous biscuits?
She does.
Or that Mary
It's not a tea room. She does serve everything with a tiny sour cream biscuit. That's so good.
So I think, well, this is too long not to get this later, but I think they're related to the people at the Serenity Inn in Chattahoochee Hills, Georgia. I think they're the same family line, and they serve that. I could be wrong, but they serve that biscuit for breakfast. Like when you go there and you purchase at the inn. And I had such a fit over it when I had that biscuit for the very first time. And I said, oh my goodness, to my waiter, do you have a recipe for this? Do y'all have a cookbook for this? They said, no, these are the biscuits we've been serving forever. I mean, these were like our owner's family are the Macs that have like these bakeries in Birmingham, I think. Is there one in Atlanta too?
There's not. She started, so Ashley McMacken, she started doing catering when I think she had just gotten married. She was doing catering out of her apartment in Homewood.
Okay. So they're not connected.
They're not connected. But
three cheers for a good biscuit. That's what I'm saying. Regardless of where they come from, right?
And she has a cookbook. She has a cookbook where you can make and she does a mini sour cream biscuit that is so good. One thing she used to sell, because she has a freezer, she has a take and go section, and then you can stay there and eat. She used to do these orange glazed biscuits, which it was her sour cream biscuit with an orange glaze over. So I'm thinking,
I love orange. I love orange anything like that.
I love orange anything. So if
like
you do,
even the wok, like the Pillsbury
I'll do
wok orange
Yes.
rolls.
Yes.
I love that orange glaze. I can pull the thing on that little plastic sleeve and just squeeze out that orange glaze and eat it. I love that stuff.
Okay, listen to this recipe. My mother will take crescent rolls, then she does her cream cheese mixture, lays that out, crescent rolls on top, and then she does an orange glaze on top. And that is everyone's favorite thing. And
What's that?
my nephews, I think that they can tear up a pan themselves on Christmas morning. So yes, so never forget the power of just putting a little orange glaze over a biscuit and warming it up in the oven.
The hater, you would zest in lunch.
You would zest it.
For just a little elevation.
Yes.
A little elevation, a little zest.
Yeah, yeah. The zester, I don't love a ton of kitchen gadgets. I'm not a kitchen gadget girl, but the zester is the one thing I will keep because it does just add a little extra. Add a little extra. Well, Amy, I could honestly do 2-hour podcast, I think, because I love y'all. And I hope that as you're listening to this, I hope all of our listeners, I hope that you feel the love behind this, that we are chatting about all of these things because we love y'all and we want you to remember all the fun things about serving and blessing people. I hope that you have been inspired. If you've been nervous about making a pie for somebody, if you've been nervous about taking something to someone, I hope that you do it. You were so right, Amy. I'm going to stop doing this. I will think in my head, I should take them some flowers. I should take them some this. And I will just let time pass and I will get distracted. And then I'll think, they don't want that. But they do. But they do.
They do. They do. They sure do.
And
my Sunday school teacher, the old climbers, she always told me that when somebody comes across your mind like that you should text or call or check on or serve or whatever, that's not just you, that's the Holy Spirit that lives in us. And so we act on it. And I think that's the difference is we have a disconnect between thinking it, being inspired to do it, being prompted by the Lord to do it, and doing it. And I think that's what I have really tried to just toot the horn in my cookbook, in Satisfied that's coming out this fall, in my book Gather and Give really, because it's like a hospitality Bible study, but just to share for women to make the connection, to bridge the prompting from the Lord into really initiating hospitality and following through with it and really serving people. And what is so surprising and delightful, it's just how the Lord works, is that when we pour out, we receive.
yes.
And it is just the loveliest feeling. There's just this gas in our spiritual tanks and all this goodness that comes back to our hearts when we obey the Lord that way and we serve people.
Yes.
And so,
Tim and I did a discipleship class when we were newly married at our church in Jackson. We went to St. Richard's, and the priest said, this has stuck with me forever. When he said, when something comes into your mind, that's not just your mind, that's also the Lord. He said, God has no other arms on earth. God has no other arms but ours, and he has no other voice but ours. Mm-hmm. So sometimes God, and I just got a little chilly chill, God needs us to call that person and say, hey, I'm praying for you. God needs us to send that food because he can't physically send the food. He can't physically send the flowers. So when you're correct, thank you. When they do come into our mind, we need to know that that is the Lord saying, I need your help. Mm-hmm. I need you to send this. There's a chapter in my book, Hey Jesus, It's Me, on Stan, September 17th, available for pre-order wherever you get your books. Did you like that?
Yes, sneaky.
But it was about how for the first time when my grandmother passed away, I felt what it felt like when people pray for you. Mm-hmm. Because when I first heard the news that my grandmother had passed away, I didn't expect it. And I was so broken in that moment. But I could feel as that morning went on and more people were getting word that Miss Iris had passed away, I remember thinking, this is what it feels like when people are praying for you. this is it. And so, yes, absolutely. Look, we're going to end on that note because there's no better way to end than remembering that the Lord needs us to bless people for him.
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all go out, have a great day, whatever you're doing. I just hope that you're having a great day. And I love y'all all to bits and pieces. I hope I can see you all live as I'm out on the road. And I love y'all and thank y'all for listening to our podcast. Y'all go have a good one. Okay. I'm gonna hit end and then I'm gonna record again and we'll do B-side, okay?
Mhm.
Okay, hold on one second. If I can figure out how to do it.